I own a totally mint 2010 Corvette Grand Sport with one little problem. It happens to be missing something really important, which is the piston and the connecting rod. And they've seen better days. Yeah, that's not good. Now, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I believe this may have hydro-locked due to overfilled engine oil, and unfortunately, the block took a small hit too. Now, I bought this C6 Grand Sport sight unseen at a dealer auction, and they did list it as having the engine taken apart. The car looked so nice and had so few miles, I couldn't imagine why it was taken apart, and I was hoping it was something small that I could fix with little money. I was so hopeful that I bid this thing up to $30,000 with fees to win it. Now, $30,000 for this car is a pretty good deal considering a 3LT manual transmission Grand Sport sells in the low 40s with this low of mileage, but a low mileage LS3 is around $8,000 and much more with all the while you're in there's and other reconditioning that this car may need. Now, before finding the hole, I was hopeful I could fix this engine with a new rod and piston because the cylinder wall looked untouched. So I bought all the new parts right from GM, and I was hoping I could just put a new rod and piston in from the bottom after removing the oil pan. Unfortunately, plans have now changed ever since I found, the hole in the side of the block. And unless I want to lose big time on this car, I still need to somehow fix this engine. So right now, my plan is welding. And for that, this engine needs to come out of the C6. I need to put it on a stand, take it apart, and hope that if we don't find any more carnage that would prevent us from welding up this engine and fixing this thing right here, right now for not a lot of money. So this would be the time that you should probably go get yourself a cold pop, maybe a coffee, maybe both. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show because this is about to get a whole lot more interesting. Oh no. Ooh. Okay. Oh no. That's not good. And possibly a lot more expensive.
I think I paid over 40 grand for it.
Don't worry. You guys are good. So enjoy. Now, I've never taken the engine out of a C6 Corvette before, but I'm gonna try and do it from the top, and for that, we need this hood to disappear. Now, I could take this off right here at this hinge, but this is such a perfect low mileage car, I don't wanna mess with any of the bolts that you can see. So this will be a little bit more difficult, but I'm gonna do it at this hinge here, and we're gonna do a little white line there, and one right here. And so now we'll be able to line this up perfectly. Okay, we have two 13 mils we need to remove on each side. All right, all four nuts are off. We're just connecting the shocks like that. Okay, we gotta kind of sneak this thing out. Whew. All right. Very light hood, I must say. Very nerve-wracking. This thing has like no dents or scratches. I want to keep it that way. All right, there's our hood on the table. Whew. All right, look at that. Wow. Looks like we have so much room. I think we're gonna have to take this radiator and fan and condenser setup out because we wanna go this way. When we get underneath there, I'll show you why I'm not dropping everything from the bottom. We have 410s to remove, and then the upper radiator support should come off like that. I'm gonna try and sneak the AC condenser out, and this system was already discharged. So that was done by whoever took the engine apart, I'm assuming. Yep, nothing in there at all. And there's another line down here. That off too. I removed two clips for this plastic shroud, and I should be able to sneak this out now. All right, got that side up. Ooh, she's coming out. Stop getting stuck on stuff. There we go. All right, sweet. AC condenser is out. Definitely needs a cleaning, but other than that, it's pretty nice. We're gonna remove the lower radiator hose at the thermostat, and we'll see if we can get out the radiator and the fan and the hose and everything in one chunk. Okay, yeah, I think I have everything disconnected. Oh, hang on, we got a couple cooler lines here, and I used my pick to get this out. If you're not careful, these will fly out, and you'll never find them. No joke, when I was modifying my Trans Am a lot before YouTube, I would carry a couple of these in my wallet because I would be messing around with the car all the time, taking trans cooler lines off or whatever, and I would lose them. So I bought a bunch of extras. But anyway, now, this should come out. Oh, it's a good seal. There we go. All right, so what do we got here? Possibly power steering fluid. There's so many coolers on this car, I don't even know what that's for. Let's follow it back. It goes kind of towards the rack. Yeah, I'm gonna say probably power steering. Okay, let's see now. Are you gonna come out, radiator? Come on, what is this attached to? Out of here, plastic thing. It's stuck on something. Okay, there we go. Plastic shroud. Yeah. this. I usually forget one or two things. Are we gonna be good here? I think so. Hey, look at that. We got it out. All so dirty. We can clean that. Oh, look at this. So much more room for activities. Now, we do have an issue, which is the rack. The rack kind of gets in the way. We might have to drop the subframe, but maybe we can just go up with the engine and clear that. I'm not sure. We're kind of just gonna find out. I moved the power steering pump over. It was here, but disconnected. So now we can go around and just unplug various sensors. I think it would definitely help to remove this AC compressor because when we're trying to come out with the engine, it's just gonna hit the frame. So we can loosen up the belt tensioner. All right, and I slid the belt off. And here it is. Whatever, we'll just leave it in there for now. We just need it off the compressor. We probably don't have to take the water pump off at this stage in the game, but it's gonna free up a lot more room. And it's actually pretty easy to do. Just a bunch of 10s. Is that it? Is that it? Ah, we got a sneaky one right here. Trying to hide there. Whoa, whoa, no he's not. Coming out. All right, look at that. Sweet, water pump is out. Oh, we're gonna have so many tables, people. Look at that, it's like one table taken up with just 3 things. Oh yeah, this is gonna make doing the AC compressor a lot easier. Oh, we fish our belt out too. 4 things. From down below, we have 2 AC compressor bolts. So in order to get to that, I had to remove this from the back of the compressor. It was blocking us up. Hold yourself. And I just loosen up the second one. Here it is. Okay, we got a really long and a not so long. Now from up top, we have 2 more. Oh yeah, oh, that one was pretty tight. Okay, there we go. So this is gonna be a nut. That'll be fun to pull this thing off the stud. We might have to pull this stud out. That's insane. Come on, Corvette. How you gonna do that? A stud next to the frame? Jeez, it's 2 studs next to the frame right now. I'm gonna try and remove this stud. We'll see if that works. That might hit the frame too, I don't know. Gotta be a way though, right? Nope, nope. Okay, all right, just loosen up the other bolt and the stud. They're coming out with the compressor. There we go, cool. We are running out of room here on the table. This seat taken?
It's taken.
Well, I don't care, I'm sitting here anyway. That's what Forrest should have said to that kid. With the AC compressor out, we're looking pretty good here, guys. There's really nothing around the engine. The person before me, took off the exhaust manifold, so that's good. I'm gonna go around, make sure that no harnesses are still attached, grounds and stuff like that, and then we gotta go underneath. Back underneath, we have to remove the oil cooler lines. Okay. More oil, yay. I loosen up the bracket for this so it's away from the engine. Let's get this knock sensor out of the way. Just gonna pull it right off the block. I'm putting as many bolts back as possible so we don't have to organize too much. I think this is all we have left for the harness. So lots of grounds, putting all the bolts back, and yeah, that should be it. Sure, I forgot something, but I believe I have everything removed off of this engine. And now we can start to remove the bell housing bolts. Oh, and let me show you why I'm gonna try and pull the engine out the top. So the Corvette has a torque tube. The clutch and flywheel and everything is in here. And this looks like a normal bell housing, which it kind of is, but then it is attached to this gigantic tube that runs all along to the back where there's essentially another bell housing and the transmission. And you have to remove everything. Like the trans would have to come down with the entire tube. Like this whole thing. And then we could drop the subframe with the engine. So it's all one gigantic assembly, which I'm pretty sure we'd be dropping the rear subframe as well. So since I'm not really doing anything to the trans, I'd like to be able to just slide the engine up and out. So this is just splined in like normal. If we angle it right, it should just bloop right out. We get the cherry picker next to the Lightning for good luck. You see, these side bell housing bolts, they really stink. This one took like 5 minutes to get out. In the cupcake bin you go. I got all the bell housing bolts out, the top ones as well. Actually put this one back. We're gonna leave these bottom 2 in while we hook up the cherry picker, and then I'll get underneath here and disconnect those. You know what, before we go down, if we have any chance of this rack just staying where it's at, I think we have to lower the subframe. Just 2 bolts on each side, that one and that one. But these front ones have the sway bar in the way. Let's fix that. I got the bolts out. Okay, there we go. All right, got the other ones loose too. Ah, that's nice. Now we can get to that. All right, now we can go in here. Start loosening these up. Just a little bit at a time at each corner. Just want this to drop evenly. We've got the subframe kind of loose. It's not resting though on the nuts. That's because we have the upper control arm still attached. So we'll see, it went down a little bit. We'll just kind of play it by ear. We might have to disconnect some more stuff. All right, cherry picker going in. This has a very long front end. So we can do this. Okay, so we're definitely gonna be kind of pulling from the front, but that works out well because we need that upward angle. But yeah, I need as much clearance as I can. I'm gonna remove this valley plate. We can pop the sensor, but it's on a little standoff. I just have a bunch of 13s. Okay, I can remove this as one big assembly. There we are. Any more holes in the block? Well, I mean, those are normal holes. Those are good holes. Hey, we can see the cam. All right. There she is. All right, it's time to chain them up. Chain them up. You guys ever do a tug of war, like with two trucks and you chain them up and you just go at it? It's gotta be like one of the most American things, like top 3. So we're gonna use the old factory head bolts and bolt it right in, but just realize this chain doesn't fit. What's a guy to do? Get a bigger chain. Make sure this is secure in there. Get out of my cylinders. All right, so now we have our factory head bolt, and we're gonna put it through the chain. We'll kind of make this pretty tight and thread it in. I'll do one on this side as well. Cherry picker is connected. There's no real pressure on the chain yet. We're gonna disconnect the engine mounts, leave them on the subframe. All right, there's that. This side as well. And I'm just gonna give this a little bit, just enough to basically hold the weight of the engine. So we're just gonna make this chain tight, that's it. From underneath, we can disconnect the last 2 bell housing bolts. There we go. All right, now we'll do this one. Oh, you can see that separation right there. All right, we're getting somewhere, people. We're getting somewhere. Getting kind of nervous now at this point too. We're gonna put this engine on a stand and take it apart, and God, that determines my fate here with this engine. Oh. All right, here we go, people. I'm gonna start going real slow. All right, well, I didn't get too far. This just wants to ram right into the bumper. I had this in there, but I don't trust it. There's gonna be a lot of force going that way. So we're actually gonna move everything to the front. We put the chain all the way in the front and a ratchet strap going to another bolt there, and hopefully that'll help. I still got my towel here. Let's go ahead and start lifting. It's going up. So we're running into an issue where the torque tube is just hitting the body of the car. It's still coming up with the engine, so we can disconnect the pedestals and then hopefully not have to worry about that. All right, so I just have 3 15mm bolts. This top one's easy enough. The other one's not so much. All the bolts out both sides. Let's see what happens now. Okay, so we are released from the pedestal, so that's nice. All right, I'll get this out of the way too. More room. I think we're still on the dowels here for the engine to the bell housing. Give it a little pry. An issue that I was worried about, we have our harmonic balancer and the power steering rack, and this is as far as it will go. So we gotta remove the wheels. We're gonna disconnect the upper control arms and the shock in hopes that the subframe will lower itself. We just need like another inch. I mean, I'll take a lot more than that, but that would be nice. I've never taken the wheels off of my C6 Grand Sport. Personally, I wouldn't have gone with the black wheels. If you're gonna go Corvette, New Balances and all that, you gotta get the chrome, you know? And I like chrome. But I've liked chrome since I was a young lad, all right? It's not something that like grew with me as I aged. All right, so I have 2 bolts for each side of the arm. All right, so we can pull this back. There are shims on the inside, so I'm gonna leave those where they are. All right, we'll disconnect the shocks. Oh, I think it went down. We have the shock fully disconnected, and yeah, I was holding it up. Gosh, we are so close, people. I think it's just gonna hit that line. I ended up removing the front subframe bolts altogether. We got a decent amount of room now. Start pulling this way. I need it to come forward. All right, I've pried this out. We have a gap. This is not gonna be fun to put back in one day, let me just tell you that. Oh, I think we're clear of the rack. We're going up, people. Oh yeah, and it's not ramming into the bumper. A ratchet strapping as well. And you really need to get one of those like hoist leveler things that would be like a nice $50 investment in this place. But anywho, Corvette engine coming out. Oh, we're getting hung up on the harness a little bit. You can see our clutch. Seriously, not looking forward to putting that back in. It's just gonna suck to line up. Those are like the moments I wish I was just one of those disassembly channels. You just take stuff apart, never put it back together. Here we go. Yes. All right, she's coming out, people. She is coming out. Wasn't too bad. I'm like 4.5 hours deep. I mean, it was partially disassembled when I got it, so thank you, whoever the tech was that, you know, took the heads off and the exhaust. But there we have it, guys. What are we gonna find? We gotta get it on the engine stand, flip it around, and oh man, I'm nervous. Just do a little dance, say a little prayer, or do something, people, do something. All right, we need to save this. We have to remove this stock clutch in order to get this on the engine stand, but this is the current situation here in the C6 Corvette's engine bay area. There's our slave cylinder, the bell housing connected to the torque tube. I can't say I didn't see this coming. I mean, you buy a car with an engine half disassembled, plan for the worst. Like that, that's the worst. Anywho, let's just forget about the hole in the block, or possibly holes. We have to take off our pressure plate. It's definitely a stock clutch. All right, forget one. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, surely. Should be it. We're gonna do a little mark in here. There's already a factory blue, and we'll just line everything up. Factory white, there we go. Pry this off. Got a couple dowels. There we go. All right, don't drop everything. There's our pressure plate and our clutch. Oh man, this is in such good condition. This thing was a cream puff, guys. What a shame. Like this Corvette was probably not beaten on like at all. Look at this. Flywheel looks absolutely amazing. And look at the clutch. I mean, it's practically brand new. Yeah. This is perfect. Probably end up replacing these bolts, but we'll put them back for now into the flywheel. And we have a bunch of flywheel bolts. These will get replaced as well. Stay. Don't want this falling. Sometimes they get a little stuck. Lots of stuck. Okay. Put a bolt back in before you start prying or doing anything. So you don't want this thing to fall. Should just need a little gentle guy. Okay. There we go. It's coming. Stop moving. There we go. Aha. That's why I put the bolt in. It would have fallen to the ground. All right. What's up, Remain? What's up? Not leaking at all. Some solo mileage. Now I'm gonna have to take everything apart. I bolted up the stand adapter piece. Put that in there, an old crusty bolt. I think this is a Ford product type of bolt. Probably won't last very much longer, honestly. And we'll go down. We have touchdown. Man, you guys remember when the Lightning engine was like out of it for not that long, like two years roughly, because the machine shop stole it. Anyway, the Lightning has been phenomenal for the last few thousand miles. It's only fitting that it's here in front of this engine. It's a Chevy, it's a Ford, it makes no sense, I don't know. This is coincidentally parked right here, honestly. And luckily for us, it fits a C6 Corvette hood perfectly and a screen that I have to bring to the store to get fixed. I'm gonna remove these stock head bolts. Thank you, Cherry Picker. Done a great job picking cherries. But now we must turn this thing around. Ford bolt coming out. All right, yeah, we're gonna leak some stuff. Hang on. Got my little drip pan underneath. These are really, really nice. Now we can spin this thing around and see. Yeah. There we go. Okay. It's not the sound you wanna hear when you turn an engine over. But yeah, there's broken stuff in there, I think. We're gonna find that piece of rod, I hope. Let's do this. Lots of 10 millimeters. This oil pan's very easy with the engine out. You can technically take this oil pan off in the car. Like I was gonna do that when I thought we were just gonna, put a rod and piston in it and call it a day. But you have to like do a lot of the similar work, like dropping the subframe and then trying to sneak it out. Nothing we haven't done here before though. But now we just have one more step. We just gotta take the engine out, weld it up, throw it back in, after the rod and piston, and we're gonna be fine. We're going to be fine. You just gotta speak to the universe. Things will come true. I'm aura forming, or whatever that thing is, Aura forming, you guys know about that? What about 6'7"? You guys into 6'7" at all? You got kids? That's all I hear. 6'7". That's gonna date this video like crazy when that fad runs out in like 3 weeks. Here we go. Oil pan coming off. There we go. Oh, that bulge is not supposed to be there. I don't think, yeah. The rod did that. Gosh, why? Oh, look at, speaking of rod, there's a piece. Sweet. There's the side of the block. Oh no. Ooh, that does not look good, guys. Oh no. Yeah, we got lots of pieces in here. Cool. My current feeling is not good. That does not look good. Let's get this windage tray off. I'll probably remove this first. Okay. All right, so while we disassembled, we'll try and play, rebuild the rod. This piece must have gone somewhere like that. Yeah, I knew this thing was longer. See, we still got a lot more to find. Bunch of 13s. I feel so naive. I have a new windage tray, like, just gonna put that on too. That's all we need. It just dented the windage tray. God, if only we could have gotten that lucky. Is this the AMG GTR kind of getting back to me here? I was fully planning on rebuilding that engine. Didn't need anything. This one, not so much. Although there's a slight price difference between the LS3 and the AMG GTR engine. Okay, just coming off. Okay. Whoa, that is not this side. Jeez. Oh man, yeah. If you guys were around for the last video, we found that other side of the block had like a little nick and I wasn't sure what it was. It's that right there. And that's what that is. Wow, that's what that is. Okay, just move a little piece. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, that rod really beat that up. And then here's the other side. And it's just the complete mirror opposite. So this one, yeah. Wow, why does this side doesn't look as bad from the inside? Oh, hey, look. Look what I found. Ooh, piece of rod, cool. Just casually finding pieces. That's a nice long one right there. Look at that. I think it went, I don't know where it went. Ooh, that is bad. Oh no, look at that. What? Found another piece. Just kind of going around collecting at this point. Anything else? Definitely looks like the camshaft took a hit there as well, so we'd need a new cam for sure. Yeah, there's a piece just chilling. Oh, okay, well that's new. Wow, look at the reluctor wheel. Oh man, that got beat up. That is not good. That needs to be completely changed out. Great, so that is for the crankshaft sensor. It's not gonna be sensing much like that, no. I've sent some pictures over to Blaine, my welder. He's gonna come take a look at this in person, but we have to fully disassemble it because this rod ran into the coolant jackets, especially right there. Coolant runs through. You can kind of see like a tube right there. And if we go around to the other side, that is this. So coolant runs alongside cooling the engine block off. And yeah, this engine definitely had to have lost all of its coolant because there's a hole in there. And on this side too, I'm gonna go ahead and assume, even though it doesn't look like a hole, that that has gone in. That's actually like the really bad side, so yeah. We also have the damage to the bottom of the sleeve, which in itself may not be an issue, but yeah, all of this stuff here, the rotating assembly, it needs to come out so Blaine can take a really good look at this. And it would need to come out anyway for him to weld it. So let's disassemble and then we'll line it all up on the table and see how many good parts we have, because it's not a guarantee that all the rods and pistons are good. And then the crank, God, I'm hoping we don't find anything bad with the crank, because that is the big difference between the dry sump and the wet sump as far as the engine goes. The dry sump gets a forged crank, so that's what we have here, where the wet sump gets a cast crank. So we wanna keep our forged crank. That's part of what makes this so special. We're gonna start off by removing the harmonic balancer. So the LS balancer is pressed onto the crank. So I actually threaded the bolt in a little bit, and we have our 3-jaw puller. It goes on the inside. There are these little notches in there. You can kind of see right there where the arms fit into. So you don't want to necessarily grab this from the outside. That's how you do it. So now we're going to tighten this, and it's pulling it off. See that moving out? All right, at some point, your bolt's gonna run out. There's not enough room. And you'll need to find a bolt that is longer so it'll stick out so you have more meat to pull against the crank. Or what I did many years ago is I took a factory LS crank bolt, cut it down, took the big washer out, and now it fits right there on the crank so we can push against this. You can also do that right from the get-go. I just couldn't find it like 3 minutes ago. So we set the 3-jaw up the same way. And comes right off. Cool. All right, it's one of my favorite specialty tools ever. With the balancer off, we can remove this tensioner and this bracket. Just one bolt, leaving that in there. Next is our front cover, a bunch of 10s. It's just a little pry, there we go. Front cover's off. Look at this beefy oil pump. This is another one of the differences between the dry and wet sump is the oil pump itself. So we do have to match this and the crank to an engine if we end up going that route if we can't fix this one. But I would venture to say this oil pump is probably fine. We'll take the cover off later and find out though. 4 10s for this guy. And then this slides right off, and here is the oil pump gear. And you can see how it splines in on the inside. Now, unlike a lot of crazy German cars and, well, lots of other cars, this is still push rod and simple. Look at the timing chain setup. This is it. So this is the one guide. They pretty much never wear out. These gears never wear out. The chain never wears out. It's just reliable. We have that questionable cam. We're gonna have to remove that at some point anyway. Might as well just take it out now because we need this chain off the crank. And here's our 2 bolts for the guide. So slide this off, and we can take the chain off with this gear, all in excellent, excellent condition. In order to remove our camshaft, we have to remove this cam retaining plate. Ooh, that's a Loctite from the factory. There we go. And that does have a seal there. These are totally reusable though. It's a little difficult to grab the camshaft, so a little trick here is we borrowed 2 bolts from the water pump. They're nice and long and the same thread. This is actually really helpful when you're going back in with the cam. Before we take the cam out, we're gonna remove the lifters. We just have these trays right here. And sometimes you can take the lifters out with the trays, not this time. I'll just go around and pluck out our lifters. Hope there's no damage. So far, so good. Literally just took out one. And magnet really helps pull these out. There we go. Bloop. I say lifters are pretty cool. I like them. All right, so here is, metal stuff coming out. Okay, I got 2 of them out. This one and this one were on the, the bad cylinder. But the lifters look fine. Shouldn't be any damage to these whatsoever. The cam though, I think I might have gotten hit. Did I get this one? Yeah, I got it. All the lifters and the trays are removed, and we'll spin this back around. Every time I flip this engine around, we get another piece of the connecting rod. Starting a collection. And now we can just pull it out. And you just don't want to rip it right out. You want to be careful because there are cam bearings in the block. You don't want to disturb those, but I like to support the cam the whole way out. There we go. All right, and we're coming up. Oh, I see some damage. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this could be worse. See that right there? It's really not that bad. But yeah, that took a hit. That took a hit from something, that's for sure. All right, we started our second black table of parts. So this is just gonna be all the internal engine stuff we are removing right now. I like to try and stay as organized as possible. So I've moved the radiator and all the AC stuff to the back of the car, but with fall here, we may not need our air conditioning compressor anymore, but this is the perfect time for a hot cup of joe or a delicious cold brew, depending on how you like it. And no matter what, Trade Coffee is the best place to get any kind of coffee. Just take their online quiz and Trade will match you up with the perfect brew from their collection of over 450 different coffees from 50 of the top US roasters. Each bag is shipped right to your door at prices comparable to the grocery store brands. It's 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm up in Atom Atomic Coffee. I'm so excited to try out this Space Cadet. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Just a little hint of sweetness. This is a medium roast. It's perfect. But if you're not 100% satisfied, Trade Coffee will replace your coffee for free until they get it right. Now, the best part is if you guys click on my link down below or go to drinktrade.com/legit, you're going to get 50% off a 1-month trial and 10% off gifts. That's drinktrade.com/legit. Pick yourself up some coffee and enjoy. On the table, we can take a little bit of a better look here. Yeah, it's not horrible, guys. I've seen cams worn out just kind of normally more than this. This could probably just be cleaned up, to be honest with you. It almost just seems like material transfer and nothing that came off of this. So I don't know. We'll probably at some point have to bring the crank at the very least to a machine shop. I just want to have it rebalanced and checked so they can check the cam as well, or we can see. I'm sure a new LS3 cam isn't too much. Next, we're gonna remove rods and pistons. And just a couple bolts on each. I'll pull these out. We have to keep all of this stuff in order now. Beautiful crank journal. So now we can push this down and we'll continue pushing. Hey, look what we got. All right, so we're at the rings right now. Need my suction cup. There we go. All right, so we don't want to drag the rod out against the cylinder. There we are. And yeah, I mean, no issues here. Yeah, this looks great. You can see the ring gaps are opposing. Good job, GM. We're looking good. So GM labeled everything for me, so that's really nice. You can see that is number 8. We just took out number 2. And right now I'm just gonna go around randomly taking out any rod where the bolts are just coincidentally sticking up like that one. So this is cylinder 5. What do we got, cylinder 5? Okay, looking good. All right, there we are. Wait, what do we got? A little carbon, no biggie. I mean, look at the sides of the pistons, the leather coating, really nice. With those 2 out, we can turn this around. Looks like, which one is that? 6. Now we have 6 we can remove. So same thing over and over again. Nice, another good one. Number 8 is next. I'm a little worried about this one. So 7 was the cylinder that, bad stuff happened to, we won't talk about. This one's right next to it. Bearing looks good. Did this rod take any abuse from the other rod? There it comes. Okay, oh no. That's not good. That is not good. Oh wow. Look at the bottom of the piston. No. Oh man, I was really hopeful that we would have like a completely fine rotating assembly outside of the one. I mean, this piston's definitely done. That cylinder is gonna be done, isn't it? Let's take a look. I just flipped the engine around so we can take a good look at the cylinder. Yeah, I mean, we knew that it chipped the bottom of the sleeve. I don't see any actual damage though. Like there's no gouging. You'd think there would be looking at that. That part at the bottom's not good. So yeah, it gouged the piston, that needs to be replaced, but I guess that makes sense. It gouged it in, so it's not like this was protruding out, and scratching the cylinder wall. So the cylinder wall looks fine. Piston does not look fine. all right. I'm sure the rod is good. It looks fine. Something I noticed that I haven't seen in other LSs is all the numbering from the factory. It's coming off, so I'm labeling it, but all this orange stuff in the bottom, that's because this thing was hand built. So if you guys were around for the reveal video, when I first picked it up at the auction, it had a little plaque on the intake manifold and it had someone's name on there. I think his name was Brent or Brad or something. Let's call him Bradley. I like that name. So Bradley hand built this engine. So these LS3s were hand built as opposed to all of the non-dry sump ones that were more machine built, you know. But when they say hand built, sometimes I'm like, can we just say like hand assisted? Because I've seen some of these videos even from like Mercedes AMG and stuff, and they're like bringing over a big robotic arm and they press a button and then it tightens all the head bolts. And I'm like, that wasn't hand built. That was like robot hand built, kind of. So I don't know. I don't know if on the LS3, the guy's literally going around, you know, torquing all the bolts and everything. But thanks, Bradley or Brenton. So the next thing I really got to worry about is the crank. So you can see right there, it got a little scraped up. That's not a big deal. Let's just get this whole thing out so I can get a good picture, because we're sending it to a machine shop no matter what to get it balanced, which it shouldn't need anything. It shouldn't need any balancing. I just want to get it checked. Last one. I gotta say, I'm happy with the crank journal so far, you know, where the rods go. We'll see when we pull the mains, but those are protected. We should be fine. Should be fine. Keyword, should. All right, here is our last one. That is how a piston should look like when it comes out. Very nice. And if you guys are wondering, so when we build an engine, you want the rings to be opposing, the gaps in the rings, because if they were lined up like that, you would get blow by. But they spin in the engine. So sometimes you'll pull them out and they're just like that. And then every once in a while, they kind of spin past each other like, hey, hello. So that happens, but you still want to set it up right from the get-go. But a lot of guys will argue it doesn't matter. You can set it up like that and it'll probably spin away from each other. So there you have it, all 7 rods and pistons. Well, like 7.5 if you count that thing over there. We're about to remove the hardware for the crank, but something else that makes the LS engine so awesome is the hardware for the crank. So these have 6-bolt mains. So you have 4 bolts right here holding in the main cap, and then you have a side bolt on each side, and that makes for a very strong bottom end. And you guys have seen me work on many cars that have 2-bolt mains. That was the norm back in the day. So the Camaro, the Typhoon. So a lot of older cars or even modern cars today that are just normal, everyday, daily driver cars that aren't performance oriented, they'll have 2 bolts for the main and that's enough. But GM was really trying to step it up back in the day with the LSs, and that's part of the reason why these are so popular. And then you combine it with the wet sump forged crank, and this is a very stout engine. The Grand Sports are awesome for boosting. All the other LS3s do not have the forged crank. So this is, you know, different in that sense. We're gonna start off by removing the side bolts. Really nice and easy. And we will be replacing these when we go back together. With the side bolts out, we can remove these 4. These are torqued in there quite a bit. So you can use a big gun or do it by hand. Nice. So these are in there. Sometimes you can take the bolts and kind of wiggle them like that. You're using these for leverage, kind of shimmy shamming. Oh, there we go. There we go. Nice. All right, so these are labeled. They have an arrow pointing to the front of the engine and they are numbered. So this is our first one pointing this way. So that's pretty awesome. No guesswork here on which way these go. So we'll just keep on going down the row. Shimmy sham with the bolts. Pops right out. Oh, and by the way, the bearings look really nice. So these bearings are coated, and usually you don't see a lot of the coating, but it's so low mileage that it's still there. So these are in excellent, excellent shape. I shouldn't say stuff like that until we're totally done, but yeah, this journal's looking great. I'm just getting so nervous for back here. I can't take any more broken stuff. This one doesn't want to come out. Sometimes they just need a little love tap. There we are. Bearings, everything looks good. Number 3 actually contains our thrust bearing. So there has to be a thrust bearing somewhere on the crank, and that is for the side load of the crank so it doesn't move back and forth. So if you guys remember on the SVT Lightning engine build, the thrust bearings were in the back. They were like a 3-piece design. These are nice. It's just built into this main bearing. And yeah, it just doesn't matter really where it is. As long as it's spacing it out and holding the crank in so it doesn't shift back and forth, you're good. Hey, hang on a second, it's me again. What I mean is it does have to go specifically back here. I'm just saying in the design of an engine, it doesn't matter if the thrust bearing's in the back or in the middle, but once designed, it must go here because it's cut into the crank. So little, side note for you there. All right, number 4 coming out. This one was kind of close to the damage. It looks okay though, both sides look fine. You know what I forgot to do when this thing was on the stand? Take the rear cover off. We gotta take the rear cover off. Some of these are easy to get to, like these. I think 3, the rest I'll have to do it by hand. Took a few minutes in a ratcheting wrench, but I have all the bolts out. Now we can remove this rear cover. There we go. It's actually not too bad to do in the stand. Just totally pointless when you have it dangling up in the air on the chain. Here we go, people. Here we go. Our last main cap shimmy. Oh my gosh. I got a pretty decent view at the inside of this. Is that the best? Okay, is this cap at least fine? Yeah, it is. It's good, it's good. So now that we have everything removed, we can remove the crank. It's heavy. There we go. Pop it up and crank is coming out. Come on, baby. Oh yeah, that is heavy, man. Woo, it's like they're made of really dense metal or something. This crank is so heavy, I didn't want to put it on the black plastic table, but let's see what we got going on here. So we have the crank pickup ring that definitely got damaged, and a little bit of the crank got nicked. This is really not a big deal though. So they drill in order to remove weight from the crank to balance it. And you can see sometimes they don't drill that far, just depending on how much needs to be removed for it to balance out. So that's fine. I was already planning on bringing this in. So this is also something good to get replaced at the machine shop so we can get a new wheel and they can rebalance it, make sure everything is okay. But just from looking at it, I think that's our only crank damage, which isn't too bad. All right, so here is our bare block. Completely stripped. And I'll get the bearings in here. They're fine. I get a really good look at this engine damage. I mean, if it was just that, we'd be fine. The piston's not coming down this far. You can see the ring there, the color difference. So we're more than fine. And guys that do stroker engines sometimes grind this area away. Anyway, so that's good. This is kind of what it should look like. And these are normal burr marks from the machining process. So it's not perfect, you know, even when it doesn't get mangled by a rod. But yeah, you see that? It's crazy. It's like someone took a die grinder to it. That's just how they look. You can also get a good look at cam bearings right now. Those all look good. Here's a really good look at the hole in the block right into the coolant jacket. So there's a piece in there we could probably pluck out. And then on this side as well, wow, you get a really good look at how large this is also. It is cracked all the way around. Jeez. I got a lead on someone that might know something about this. He's the sales manager at a dealership that was going to buy this, and then they didn't because of the engine thing. So I don't know. There was a tag when I bought this with this dealership name, and it was a tow bill. And they just hung up on me. Okay, try again.
Chevy Sales Department, this is Jordan. I can help.
Hey, Jordan, is Michael available?
Can I tell him who's calling?
Yeah, my name is Alex, and just calling about a Corvette.
Like a Corvette we have here in stock, or?
No, it's kind of a long story, but basically he was bidding on one at an auction, and I just had a question on why I didn't buy it. That was a bad thing to say. I'm never gonna get through now. Yeah. He's like, okay, that's weird. I should have made something up, but I can't. Just being honest. I should really be more prepared for these phone calls.
All right, sorry for the delay. I just wanted to make sure he's actually at his desk before I send you over. I'm going to send you over right now, okay?
Oh, okay, thanks. Well, I thought for sure he was going to give me some, yeah, he's not around at lunch. See ya. Bye.
Thanks for Chevy Nichols. Michael, may I help you?
Hey, Michael, my name is Alex, and I was calling about a Corvette Grand Sport that you guys were going to buy. It was a Carvana car on Mannheim, and it had like an engine taken apart. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Okay, I ended up getting that car, and I was just trying to piece the story together. Do you know what happened to the engine?
No, it was, so the car was online, represented as like a 5.0 grade. And the pictures look great. When you see the pictures on the original post, on the original ad, I thought there was like maybe exhaust maybe in the trunk, something like that. Bought the car, had the car transported, and then he goes and get it. And he's actually a close friend of mine, and he said, no, you should get your money back. Something's wrong with this car. It's not movable. It's like missing parts. The engine's taken apart.
Oh, and you had bought it from Carvana at Mannheim?
Yes.
Okay, and where was it? Like, where was it located?
So when you look closer at the pictures, you realize it was at like a shop. You had to really look really close, because when those guys do the inspections, they do a good job just picturing the car and not all the surroundings.
Okay, see, I never saw any of those pictures. Like the listing that I bought it from, I don't think it was at the shop. I think they might have been different pictures, like, I don't know, I'm not sure.
So he called me and told me to get your money back. I thought the arbitration at that point, and at that point it should be easy to fight because the car won't move. They ended up dropping the car off anyways and didn't care about my arbitration. I had to get my rep involved and tried to use our lawyer because the car was misrepresented.
So you bought it as a 5.0 perfect car, running and driving, supposedly 14,000 mile car.
Green light car, yeah.
Wow.
And it ended up being none of this. That's when I called our rep again, and we set up the pop the hood, realized it's missing all kind of parts.
Okay, but you guys didn't dig in or like take the engine apart any further? Like that was it?
No, we just thought it was missing a bunch of parts, and at that point we said, you know what, I want my money back. And
okay.
It took me about 2 weeks to fight them to get that back and handled, and that was it.
Man, Michael, do you know at all like what shop it was at? Because it's not showing up on Carfax. I'm just trying to find out what happened. Like basically, well, I know what happened now. Like a rod is completely snapped in half and it blew out like 2 holes through the block. But I'm just trying to figure out, I think that someone poured too much oil in the engine and hydrolocked it. So I'm trying to find out like who the shop was that was working on it. That exhaust also looks brand new. Like maybe it went in for an exhaust and an oil change. It doesn't look like it was ever fired with the new exhaust. I'm having a hard time finding who the shop was that either took it apart or blew it up.
It was in an Indianapolis shop. I know that. That's where the car was sitting at.
Indianapolis, okay.
I can't say the name of the shop, but it never really came up, right?
Yeah, no, I hear you. Man, that should have been an easy case for you. A 5.0 perfect car and the engine's literally disassembled. Like, that's insane.
Right. It was a 5.0 grade, perfect car. And you look at the body, it's immaculate.
Oh, it is. The car is mint, man. It's a shame what happened, honestly.
Yeah, and the amount of money they charge, I think I paid over 40 grand for it.
Yeah, so I won it with fees at 30, knowing that the engine was taken apart. So just taking a gamble that maybe it wasn't that bad, but it was pretty much worst case. I'm gonna rebuild the engine, like, fix it, just make it stock. It's still such a nice car, so I'll be okay. I'll probably just break even on it. It is mint, but.
Yeah, it's a great car, and I wish I could have kept it because that's kind of our wheelhouse here. We do a lot of Corvettes here. It's just kind of sad. It was kind of sad.
It was very sad. Well, Michael, I appreciate all your help. I'm still trying to figure this out. If for whatever reason you do learn anything about it, this is my cell number. If you could just shoot me a text or give me a call, I'm just curious.
Of course, no problem, man.
Cool. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. So unfortunately, we don't have the full story just yet, but we keep getting a little bit closer, and I wonder, was the guy who changed the oil the same guy who blew it up and then took it apart? I don't know, but that is for another day because Blaine's here. Blaine's here. Blaine fixed up the quarter panel on my DeLorean, so it's been a couple of years since we've seen Blaine, but I'm back with another aluminum engine with a hole in it, but this one is way worse than the Mercedes. So
a little more damage.
We just had a hole in the coolant jacket of a cylinder head on my V12 Mercedes, but this is worse.
That rod spun around a bit.
It did.
Yeah, obviously, first thing I'm seeing is you got the hole right there, a little chunk in there. Now, were we thinking that's coolant or oil or?
Yeah, I think it's coolant.
Okay.
So wait a minute, hold on a second. Oh, this is oil, I think. Hang on, we might be able to get a really good look at this. This is the barbell. That's the oil barbell, and it lines up. Yeah, this has got to be oil. Yeah, and then this is the oil filter. I was just thinking coolant jacket right off the bat. And then if we go to this side, that's where the oil pump bolts up, right there. That's where the oil goes through. Okay, that is definitely gonna be oil, and I think we might be able to take a good look at it. So you guys have seen me replace these barbells. They have a seal on them. There we go. I've put aluminum ones in that just kind of hold up better. But there's the old LS barbell seal. And, oh yeah, you can see the chunk. Look at that.
Well, that'll be easy to get out.
Yeah. This is definitely an oil galley right here. All right. I don't know if that's better or worse.
Probably about the same.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Change a whole lot.
Yeah, you're gonna have fluid behind it, but
yeah,
oil coolant doesn't really make a huge difference. Neither are gonna be super high pressure, as far as, blowing out the weld,
right.
or anything like that. So like I said, from my perspective, the big thing, we just don't wanna completely fill that. And cause a problem with blocking it, but that hole, the bore is big enough and nice. We have access, you can see all the way through.
Yes, that is really nice.
So if the weld starts encroaching on that, we can get in there and hone it out or ream it out or whatnot.
Okay, and then this one here, I think is just a piece of block. I don't think there's anything inside of where it hit here. I think this is,
it feels solid.
Yeah, it feels solid.
If that was hollow, I think it would have punched a big hole through there. So I don't think we've got any fluid coming out. And it's relatively dry on this side. So if there was any fluid inside there, I would expect the exposed casting to have some wetness to it.
Okay, and then my other big concern, lots of big concerns here, would be this area here. It's like almost like we could probably leave it, but if we welded that, I'm concerned it would heat up the sleeve, which is steel.
Yeah, so the steel sleeve is gonna have a higher melting point than the aluminum, so I wouldn't be so much worried about causing any problems with that. The aluminum is gonna wick away the heat really well. Not a big concern on my end of overheating the sleeves and causing any problem, but I kind of agree with you that if the piston's not coming down that far, just kind of clean it up, make sure we don't have any other loose chunks or debris that's gonna fall in and just leave that area alone.
Yeah.
So, I would, we need to address the hole right there and the big crack that is eventually going to be a hole right there if we don't fix it. Other than that, it's relatively straightforward. You know, cast aluminum tends to weld really nicely. Cast iron, a little more hit or miss depending on, you know, the grade of it and all that. But I just did a cast magnesium repair on an Italian gearbox, or Italian-made race car gearbox, and that was super thin, and I was worried about that. But the guys, they said they put it back in, it went great. So
Okay.
So we've had good luck with weld and cast. Aluminum and magnesium very similar. Magnesium's like aluminum's dirty cousin.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a pain to weld, but like I said, I've welded tons of cast aluminum and not had any problems.
Because that's an oil passage, it directly connects to this oil pump. I'm so curious if anything is in here. I don't think there will be. Just have a few bolts to take this apart. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, she's looking good. Oh, this is one super beefy oil pump. Look at that. And this looks perfect. I don't see anything inside of it. That is great. Yeah, she spins and she produces lots of oil pressure. So we can take this out, a little further investigation. But yeah, that is a beautiful thing, people. All right, we got lucky. I don't even want to know how much this thing costs. It's pretty cool. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Blaine is super confident. I'm so curious what he can do with this block. So we're definitely giving it to Blaine. All right, so for now, I'm gonna clean this block. Blaine is actually gonna take it with him to his shop because he has a different welder. He can do this mobile like he did with the V12, but he wants to use a bigger welder for this one, better, more precise one. So I'm gonna clean this up so it doesn't get his police Tahoe all dirty, and we'll watch Blaine do his magic, and I'll make a decision here, guys. I gotta build something. Engine is all cleaned up. We got Blaine's police Tahoe pulling in.
I got a Viper block.
Oh, really?
Right in the shop right now, and that's a bit heavier. But
This is so light. Oh my gosh, it's great.
watch the bottle, man.
Sorry. There we are. There's one.
Cool.
Holy LS3 for you, Blaine.
There we go. We'll bring it back with 2 less holes.
Excellent.
Well, hey everybody, welcome back to Legit Street Welding. Just kidding. I stole Alex's phone and I brought the block back to my shop and we're gonna see what we can do with it. After talking with him and looking it over more, I am much more confident, and I got a little better view, and then seeing it in person, I am very confident that we can fix this and not have any issues. So I'm gonna set this phone up so we can get some shots of me working, and we'll go from there. So first order of business is to take care of this guy here. It's kind of popped out a little bit from where the rod smacked it, but as Alex and I discussed, this is just solid right here. It's not hollow, there's no fluids going through here. I'm gonna give it a couple taps with the hammer, see if we can knock it down, and then we're gonna hit all of the cracks and edges there with a little die grinder, V it out so that we can weld it. So she's not moving, which is nice, which means his pieces aren't about to come flying out. So I'm gonna start grinding this and we'll go from there. So you can see most of the damage. Some of these smaller ones, they kind of blended in, but we're gonna fill all this up with weld, make it nice and strong. All right, so now we're on the inside of the block. I'm gonna V-groove out these cracks, and then I'm just gonna grind across here, see if we can expose any cracks that are just below the surface, because there was quite a bit of cracking on the other side. Nothing's breaking apart. It's all really solid still. So the structure's still there. We just got to weld it up and crack so it doesn't leak anymore. So this is the outside of the block on that oil passage that we were looking at earlier. So it's got that little protrusion. This guy right here, it's not part of the casting. It looks like it's a little spot that was kind of blown out when the rod hit. So I'm going to grind that and see what we find. That might have just been a casting mark, man. I thought for sure that was something that poked out. I'm gonna grind a little bit more. It's either a little bit of dirt or it is still a crack. Regardless, we're gonna fill that up with some weld. Not that it necessarily needs it, but while we're here, let's do it. I mean, that cleaned up real nice. That might have just been an artifact from casting that may not have seen any impact from the other side. I thought for sure when I ground that down, it was gonna open up into the oil passage, but we took out some material, so we're gonna add some more anyway. But yeah, I don't think that necessarily is part of the damage. I think that's just from the casting. All right, it is time for the main event. It's a nice big hole. We go in through this way. We're gonna grind that out, get all the dirty stuff out of there, and then we just gotta fill this hole without blocking the oil passage. There's a couple little pieces that flaked out of there. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but when you got damage like this on some castings, they like to kind of shatter and flake and whatnot. So as soon as I hit the grinder, those pieces fell off, which is nice to get those out of the way because we don't want those floating around in the oil pan later on. I got these giant Q-tips. I don't know if you guys ever seen these before. This is the biggest one in the set. Unfortunately, it's a little too big to go in the bore. I wanted to use it, but the next size down will work. So this guy, we're just gonna go in there. You see right there, we can, oh, look at all that. Look at those. I'm gonna make sure we clean this out real well. I'm gonna make a copper plug to go inside that oil passage so that we can weld right up to it and build up the same internal thickness that also keep us from going into that bore and having too much to clean out. So I turned down this little plug and I put it on a bolt so I can get it in there. So that's gonna sit right in there and that's gonna allow me to fill this hole with weld without it dripping down into that oil passage. And then we'll use the bolt to just yank it out when we're done. The reason you use copper is because the weld metal does not stick to copper. If you were to use aluminum, it would weld it in place. Aluminum doesn't stick to steel, but it'll create a problem. This is going so well. I mean, I expected it to be good metal. You know, it's a Corvette block. GM doesn't screw around with one of their flagship cars, but man, this is one of the best castings I've ever welded. That plug worked out perfectly. All right, well, we're on here to the back side. But, so you can see as I welded, you can see where that crack kind of started exposing itself, and you can kind of see where we melted through from the other side. So we've got full penetration in here. Like you see that, that's it melted over from the other side there. Well, that went very well. And everything welded up. We got that big crack welded, or that spider crack, both sides. If I was in the market for a Vette, I'd buy this one.
It's the next day. I just got to Blaine's. Giveaway X5 diesel is ready for an engine. Blaine texted me some pictures last night and he's like, dude, this thing is kind of newish. Like, he's very confident. This is Blaine's shop, although he just bought a new building, so congratulations on that.
Appreciate it.
Blaine's a pretty awesome dude. He's got a Cyclone right here. And he's got a white Typhoon. You guys might remember from the DeLorean videos that he pulled up in that to fix my stainless steel. So Blaine's pretty awesome. Oh, very nice. Look at that. So here it is, guys. Here it is. Look at that. That's one. And then there's the other side. Blaine, this looks really, really strong, dude. Like,
it went well. The base metal was great. Anyone who's welded cast aluminum before knows a lot of times you'll get some contaminants floating up to the surface. Very little, if any. So GM's using some good metal when they're casting the Vette blocks.
Okay. And here is the biggest patch. And gosh, I mean, it's stronger. It looks stronger than it would be. I mean, it's literally thicker now. And, you know, they always say the weld is the strongest part. So, I mean, I have like basically a reinforced block, if anything. We don't really care about this, right? Because there's nothing to...
No, there was nothing really to repair to weld in there. But what I did do is I took the die grinder in there a little bit and just made sure there was no loose pieces and cracks, things that were gonna flake off in the future. Okay. So just kind of went in there, kind of...
Deburred it.
Yeah, deburred it a little bit, gave it a couple tacks with a hammer, just make sure nothing was gonna crack more. And I think it's gonna be good. Okay.
As I mentioned, the piston doesn't even come close to coming down to this area. So we're solid there. And you can see here just from the factory, it's not a perfect finish at all. Like you can see someone came in there, that wasn't Blaine, like that was GM, and they take a die grinder and basically do the same thing. So that is all good. This is the important stuff. And were you able to pluck anything out of there?
I did. These are the two pieces that were in there.
Oh, cool. So those were the pieces that were inside of the oil galley. And what are these? Are these rod?
Those are pieces of the block. I think that's where the hole was.
Got it.
It was punched out.
Okay.
I used this to drop in there as a backer to weld against so that we maintained the cylindrical bore in there and didn't have any cleanup to do on the inside.
Okay. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling pretty good about this block. I mean, at the end of the day, it does only have 14,000 miles on it and everything else looks great. I could just do a little bit more cleanup work. I mean, the cam bearings are perfect. Like, I don't know what else we could do to this other than clean it. Engine's on a dolly. Rolling it out. Engine's in the X5, BMW floor mats to protect it. The X5 does have a tailgate, which is really awesome. And that's electronic. Look at that. Thanks, Blaine.
Absolutely.
I appreciate everything. Thanks, man.
Thanks for
I'll
coming
keep you posted.
Appreciate it.
Just got done unloading our engine block here at LegitStreetCars. She's back, and I was just gonna go for it. I was just gonna start putting it all back together. I got a bunch of new parts to do that, but I am going to load it literally right back up and send it to a machine shop. I just want it to be 100% checked. So the machine shop has different methods of looking at a block to make sure it's not cracked or it's gonna leak, and have it pressure tested and all that kind of good stuff. So that will just make me feel a lot better, and then hopefully we'll get a final blessing from the machine shop. If not, I will get a new engine block. Although GM doesn't make it anymore, I'll have to find a used one and then bring that to a machine shop. But either way, in the next C6 Corvette video, we are building an engine, and hopefully this one, I don't know about you guys, but I want to see this work again. Like, I think it's fine. I think it's better now than stock. It's reinforced. It's got the Blaine touch. So anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. That really helps me out. Share the channel with your friends and subscribe. It is a free, easy little button down there. It's probably one of the best ways that you guys can support me. You click it and that's it. You're literally done. So anyway, with that, and most importantly, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see each and every one of you in the next video. Hang on, before the bloopers, don't forget to enter to win my diesel X5 BMW. We lifted it, it's got brand new wheels and tires, and I fixed so much on it. This is an amazing vehicle that gets about 30 mpg on the highway and has a ton of power, and it sounds like this. And all you gotta do to win it is buy anything at LegitStreetCars.com. And right now, we have the LSC Shop wipes. They will clean your dirty hands up in no time. And check this out, Max just added a subscribe and save option for the wipes. You can save up to 20%, and you can even prepay for the year. So you're not only gonna save a ton of money, but you're gonna get the double entry points for prepaying for the year right now towards the X5. So click on the link down below. Good luck, and here's me messing up a bunch of times. Now I could take, so whoever took the engine apart, drained out, all right. We need to disconnect the, we're gonna disconnect, from underneath we can disconnect the last two bell housing bolts. Ah, a little ring broke off, that's so annoying. So we have to take this apart. I don't know if we also have the damage to where the wet sup, where the wet sump, you know what I forgot to do? You know what I forgot to do?